bitches. Welcome to the Frankie and Michelle show.
The show that came about when Frankie wanted to cancel on me because she thought I was a rich bitch. Actually, that's fitting for today's show.
It actually is.
Yes.
But we'll have to tell that story one day.
Okay, we will. Today's show, we'll be talking about money, having it, losing it, and knowing your worth.
Yes.
It's such a taboo topic.
Yeah.
And I think we've just mentioned that money is its own language.
Yes.
And I think that people are frightened to talk about money.
Yep.
They don't want to insult people who potentially don't have what they have, or people find it uncomfortable to talk to people who do have money because it just,
I think in today's society, our whole lives revolve around money.
Yeah.
And it's really terrible because it's what drives people's relationships.
Absolutely.
What drives what they do on a day-to-day basis.
I know. I even had somebody come up to me recently who wanted their daughter to do work experience with me because she wanted her to be in an industry where in COVID sort of times, like moving forward in the future, where she's going to make money, like she's going to be okay. And so even like directing what your children are going to study.
But just because you got money it doesn't mean that you're okay.
That's exactly right.
And so like my husband and I, this is a really strong topic for me because my husband and I, we had a business back in 2006.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, 2006. I can't even remember. But we had a car business.
Yes.
Anyway, we had a shonky accountant.
Yep.
GFC hit. Mm-hmm. Long story short, we lost everything. So we had to sell our house.
And you had the 3 boys.
We had the 3 boys. We had to opt out to go bankrupt because we had so much debt.
Yep.
There was times where I couldn't feed my family. It was a big decision to sell our home, but it had to be done.
Yep.
And I think back then it was hard, yes, because there were times where I didn't have any money. I couldn't even feed my kids.
So having money and then not having money is that's just...
Yeah, and at the time you're like, fuck, what are people going to say?
Yeah.
And I've never been quiet about it.
Nope.
It's not something that I share with everyone.
Just your own podcast.
But, I'm okay with it now.
Okay.
But there was a time where it was like I wouldn't tell certain people because of the way that they would kind of look at you or, so I think it taught me a lot. So we sold our house. I had to move into a caravan at the back of my mum's house because she lives in a 3-bedroom home. So my life was in plastic tubs for about 2 years and I would have continued living there for a long time if my mum didn't give me the shits. But that's a whole nother story. But, so I did it tough.
Absolutely.
And I still had this online persona that I was perfect. And, there were times where I would go do a personal styling session and I had no money to get out of the gate.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I'd go do these personal styling sessions where I'd have to give all my all and...
You'd have to muster some energy to do that.
And then I'd get in the car and I'd be like, fuck, let's hope I wasn't here for that long because I don't have enough money to get out of the fucking car park.
Frankie, that's crazy.
So it's that persona. And I didn't think at the time that it affected me, but it did.
Yeah.
I think I turned into a bit of a nasty bitch, because I was always forever seeing all these perfect lives and I was thinking, oh, fuck your shit. Or, I'd put other people down to make myself feel better. Feel better.
It's good that you can sort of have that perspective.
Well, I think I didn't realise at the time. I made some toxic friendships too, and then I realised,
not good.
This is not me. I'm not that sort of person that actually gives a fuck about anyone. Like I live my life for me, and I've always been that way. But there was a period where this bankruptcy really changed
who
me.
you were,
I think because I was deep down depressed, not because we'd lost everything. I think I was more depressed for my husband.
Okay.
Because he felt like he failed us.
Aww.
And I was like, it's only money. Don't worry about it.
I think they take on that role, that male role in the household. Yeah. And they are the providers. Yeah.
I was like, it's just a house.
That's right.
We will get another one. Okay, probably not because houses are really fucking expensive. But so I was forever trying to lift him up, trying to lift my kids
That's
up.
right.
And
well, the kids, some kids find that sort of scenario okay because it's like it's fun.
Well, I think my kids were still
Younger.
kind of small-ish, but I think because we were doing really well. So our kids would get everything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we went, no, we can't do that. We can't go out to dinner. I can't buy you those things.
Yeah.
So they had to kind of understand as well that we had to remold them.
What a good life lesson to get at such a young age.
It was a good life lesson for everyone.
Yeah.
for me, for my husband, for my kids, you know, like, well, it did teach me that I'm allowed to say cunt all the time. It taught, no, I won't say that. You can get that now. It taught me that some people weren't my friends.
Well, that's right. So some people are
friends with you. They were happy to talk about me.
Yeah.
You know, we had some friends in Melbourne that were, you know, if I sold my car, so why is she selling her car? Or I didn't buy a Thermomix. You know, why is she not buying that Thermomix? Or, you know, they had a problem.
Yeah.
Because they were happy that we failed.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, the tall poppy syndrome. It's crazy that people are actually like that.
Yeah, so it was good. So I got rid of lots of people in my life that I didn't want, and I'm happy to
And you've made room for new people.
And I've made room for new people. Yeah. I think COVID was really good for me because it kind of made me stop and realise that mentally I was not okay.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was always on the go. Well,
I think
I was working, I was studying, I was thinking, I was this. I was, you know, I had no time to actually
that adrenaline just runs.
Yeah, that, hang on a second, I need to work on myself.
Yeah.
I need to change me, you know. So COVID was really good for that. It made me realise that, I needed to change who I was. I needed to get back to not giving a fuck about anyone.
Yeah.
Admitting that I was horrible, admitting that I had a problem, admitting that, you know, I needed to get back to my mental state, that I needed to be happy, that I needed to do everything.
How good's that?
Yeah. So I think COVID was really good for me in that sense.
Yeah. No, I had a real COVID moment too. I had no desire to write a second book, and where I was at, and it literally just pulled the rug out from under me, and I had to sit still for 5 minutes, which I never ever do. Yeah. And I was sitting at the back with a massive glass of rosé, and I'm like, I have to recalibrate. And from that came my new business, came my second book, came this podcast, I believe, and so many good things, but it was because I had to stop.
Yeah.
But going back, I can relate. I have a few stories where we call it eating the freezer, where you don't have enough money to buy groceries. And I've been at the point where I've had a trolley full of groceries at Costco, went to use my credit card, and the credit card doesn't work. And you walk out with no food and you're like, how am I going to feed my children? And even if you've had money or you don't have money or you've had it, like it happens to everybody in that point in life. When I first moved out of home, I remember that we'd pay all our bills, and my husband and I had $3 left at the end of the week, and we'd go to Video Easy and we'd rent that one movie, and that was our treat, and that's all we had left for the week. Yeah. And building our life where we are now, we have done that from nothing. Yeah. And we try and instill that, because I always get concerned that my children are living a life where it's easy. Yeah. And my husband I came from a well-off family, never wanted for anything. Everything was always provided. And he came from a vastly different background. And he's always trying to sort of instill in them like the value of the dollar and things like that. But my kids go to private schools. My kids have never really seen too much of a struggle, and it's sort of like trying to educate them in money, that money is not easy to make. But I also don't want them to get tied down in careers that they hate because they're trying to chase money. It's like if you find something you love, you can make the money.
But money doesn't make you happy.
No, it doesn't make you happy. I know. People say that all the time, but when you haven't had it and you have to feed your children, it can create so much stress.
It does create stress because of society has helped you create that stress, because you need money to pay for your rent. You need to struggle. You need to do that. But really, at the end of the day, you don't need it.
No, you don't need it.
You don't
so do your husband and you, do you both have the same money language? I always use this all the time. Like my husband has a completely different money language to me.
Yeah. We share the same money language.
You do?
Oh, well, not really. My husband's a fucking tight ass.
Yes, that's mine. That's why I'm like. So my husband's to the point where he knows at any one time how much money's in our bank. He has a spreadsheet. He actually tracks every single transaction we make on a spreadsheet. He can tell you how much everything costs.
ANZ app, it fucking does my head in. Yeah. He checks it.
Whereas I'm like,
what'd you do with this? I'm like,
but I get coded on a spreadsheet, bless his heart. But I mean, like, that's how he runs the business. That's how he runs the family. And if he didn't do that, we'd be in a lot of trouble, because I'm much more happy and confident, and money it'll come. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. And I'm the person that goes and buys ornaments every year for the Christmas tree that we've had for 20 years. I'm the sentimental one. Whereas like, why would you go and do that every year for like $200 a year? But I'm that creator. So he lets me be that sort of side of the family. But it's taken us a long time to respect each other in that role. And I think we've had to find that mutual balance of this is who I am, this is who you are. And that's taken a long time in our relationship to get that right.
Yeah, and I think too, I hear a lot of people that have separate bank accounts.
Yeah, married couples.
And they say to me, why don't you have a separate bank account? And I was like, because I want to know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He wants to know what I'm doing. It's that respect thing that we are in this marriage together and we have to be okay. Yes, we argue sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when I say that I want to buy another pair of shoes, he's like, fucking do you have to? And I was like, yes, I do.
Well, I just think too, it's just when you've got the kids, like you're all in. It's all in.
Yeah.
That's the account. And it forces you to deal with each other.
Yes.
And if you have the separate accounts, it creates, and I never want it out. I want his life to be so complex that he can never get rid of me, that he has to sit there with 10 lawyers and try to undo this fuck because there is no way he's getting rid of me. I want to make it as complex as possible.
I think also learning to be okay with not having it as well as having it.
Yeah, I think it's good to have had that struggle.
So like Sam and I, we're doing great now. You know, we're probably in the best financial position we've ever been in. You know, we're hunting to buy a house.
Yeah.
We've got savings in the bank. You know, we can now go on holidays again. We go out to dinner with the kids once a month. You know, like we've got that leeway again. But it was 5-6 years of hardcore struggle.
Yeah.
And I think pretending to be someone that you're not killed me inside.
Yeah,
It killed me.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, because I'm such an upfront
Okay, so now
person.
When you do charge clients, you're charging your worth. Like were you charging less in that time or were you?
Yeah, I was.
You were?
Yeah, I was. I don't know why.
Isn't that funny? I think females tend to do that. I wanted to touch on that a little bit today. The females tend to not ask for that promotion. We don't go for asking for equal pay. And we talk about equal pay and things like that. But are we asking for it? Are we standing there in the boardroom going, actually, no, I'm doing the same job as you and I want the same pay? I know that I doubt myself occasionally with how much I charge. And then I hear what others are charging and I think, oh, my God, I don't charge enough.
I think it was just learning the business for me. Okay. Like now I'm, I still don't charge as much as other stylists because I just don't think it's the Canberra market.
Yep.
I do it because I love it, not because I really make
you
money from
genuinely,
it. I genuinely love it. So I did put my rates up, but I do also a portion of that rate go to the backpack for the homeless. Yeah. So I donate a portion of that to a charity because I think it's really important to give to get back in return. But I think it's hard too. It depends what kind of job you're in.
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay. It's hard.
Do you think too that women don't talk about how much they get paid? Because I know that a lot of men would, they talk about like how well their businesses are doing and what they're doing. And do you feel that women don't do that?
I think women find it difficult to ask for money. Like I know when I first started, I would not ask my clients to pay up front because I felt really uncomfortable having the money conversation. Yeah. And I know another girlfriend of mine feels exactly the same way. Like she's owed money for some work that she's done and she's like, I just don't know how to email them and ask for my money. So I think is it
just the confidence behind that?
It's the confidence thing. Whereas now I'm like, no, you want to book in, you need to pay for it and then I'll book you in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I had a lady once come and see me and she told me she was going to pay for me. She said she's out there somewhere and I styled her. Yes. She still hasn't paid me my money. So if you're listening to this, come and give me my money.
Yeah.
But she didn't pay for it.
So that's
and then that changed the way that I thought, no, hang on a second.
You knew
it takes me an hour to get ready and come into the centre.
Yes.
I worked with you for 2 hours. It takes another half an hour to get home. That's 3.5 hours that you're taking away from my children.
That's exactly right.
And you're going to pay for it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I do that too with my kids. I value my time and the time you're taking me away from my family a lot. But I guarantee men don't think that way. So sort of like they're my hours, that's what I pay. But I think for us there's just so much more to that 1 hour. Yeah. Like it's a lot.
I think too, different personalities. Like my husband is a general salesman.
Yeah.
And he's got the salesman, he can ask for anything.
Yeah, that confidence.
Like he's just got it. Like I remember we were buying a new bed once and we were in the thing and it was so embarrassing. He was like haggling so bad that I was like, I'm going to go.
I walk away.
I'm going to go wait outside because this is really fucking embarrassing. Anyway.
But he gets the deal done.
Oh, not only does he get the deal done, the guy shook his hand and goes, Sam, I'm going to come and buy a car from you.
My God.
I was like, what?
I know. We always end up with like free shipping and things and I get embarrassed. I'm like, I feel like the 50s housewife. I'm like, just hold my handbag and watch my husband negotiate. But it's actually sometimes better that they do that because man to man.
Well, he got the bed for half price.
They get the deal. Isn't that crazy?
You know, so I was like, he got the deal. But I think if we did that.
Yeah. We'd be pushy, we'd be rude, we'd be bitchy, and I don't think we get the same deal. I just don't think that.
No, we get ball breaker.
Yeah,
that's right. You're a ball breaker.
Or a bitch.
Whereas,
I hate that. Yeah,
so I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I think times are changing.
Yeah, I think so. I think everything's becoming a little bit more flexible and working from home and things are changing, and I feel that the workplace has changed permanently now. And I think that it's that whole corporate world sort of is falling to the wayside a little bit. So people are just a little bit more family life balance, and it's getting a little bit better.
I think COVID, as shit as it was, I think it made certain people better.
Yeah,
I know it made me better.
It made me better too.
It made my husband better. I know my
dogs were happier. Everyone home.
I don't think it made the kids happier.
Well, I sort of look at it as I had my daughter was, needs to be at that school. She's a face-to-face with her friends type of person. But what my son took away from it was he said that I am capable of studying on my own, which he is, and it created a better life balance for him with training with his horse. So he's like, why can't I homeschool through my school and do a 5-day fortnight where 5 days at school face-to-face teaching and I can then balance my training? So he's like, why can't I have that? So he sort of, and I'm like,
did you ask for that?
Yes, I said to the school, you've got a little opportunity here. There's certain children who are athletes or musicians that need that extra time.
And did they say yes?
Yeah, they said that was they would consider it because you could take another 15% of students, charge the same rate without their bums in the seat. You don't have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis, but you'd have to pass a certain amount of requirements and things like that.
Yeah.
But for people like my son, he's like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And he likes the Zooms, and that's the generation. He's still chatting with his friends, and they do the thing where they're all watching the same movie at the same time and all that sort of things. But he was getting out fresh air, sunshine every day because he was training with his horse.
Yeah.
But for him, it was a way better scenario. He's like, can I not live my life like this?
Oh, my poor 17-year-old just got his peds before COVID, and he really,
and
he's such a social butterfly like me. He was struggling big time.
Oh.
The other two were okay because I was forcing them outside at a period of the day.
So with your teenager, has he got a part-time job? Is he working?
Yeah,
What's he doing?
He works in retail.
Okay,
so I won't tell you where because the young girls might go and stalk him. But he works in retail and he loves it. And
you guys have conversations with him about money and saving and...
Oh, yeah, he's really good. He's got his 2 apps and...
That's great.
I think he's inherited a little bit of the tight ass apps.
Yeah.
And because he's just had an operation, he's like his money's flowing. And so yesterday I said to him, he was going out with his mates and I said, oh, do you want me to pay for your dinner, mate?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Like within a heartbeat.
Appreciate that. Because I worry about that, teaching the kids that value of that money when they're getting their part-time jobs.
But it's hard because my middle child has no value of money, no matter how.
Well, he's my friend. I think we need to be friends because he's got that expensive taste.
He's got he's got
big dreams.
Yeah, and he just burns it and things. So we haven't had a chance yet, but during COVID I said to him, because he so wants to buy stuff and he doesn't want to go work at Macca's, and he's quite creative, I said to him maybe him and I could start like a young boys online boutique from home.
That's
so
such
I can
a great
teach
idea.
him about business and teach him about, making money and buying stock because he's quite the fashion conscious, that one there.
Yeah.
So I think that he's inherited some of my
But how amazing if he could
traits.
start something now and then when he doesn't then school just happens. He doesn't have to put all that stress on how well he's doing at school.
So we're going to work on it in the holidays.
That's incredible.
So
let me know if you need help with branding.
Oh, look, I'm coming your way straight away.
My kids are so wrapped up in their sport that takes up so much of their time. Someone in our office asked if they were going to have part-time jobs, and I kept thinking to myself, I don't know how they could possibly balance full-time school and pretty much...
But they could have a job at home.
Yeah, which they do. My 2 are incredible. But I don't pay them. No way. You unpack that dishwasher because the privilege of living in this house. So, no, we don't do pocket money.
No, I don't do pocket money either.
You literally get this lifestyle, but you contribute. Like this morning, Oliver was putting washing in the machine and putting washing, like folding washing, and I get home. If I get home this afternoon, my house will be tidy and clean because they just naturally just help out.
Yeah.
And I don't give them pocket money because simply their extracurricular activities cost too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of think, oh God, but they will need a part-time job, but I don't know how I'm going to sort of fit that in.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit crazy. But I think my son came up with a really nice plan the other day. He realised that the younger kids that go on holidays over the school holidays need their ponies ridden. hidden. So he's like, I said, that's a great idea. Start a little business where you work there, because other than paying like the big head coaches to ride these tiny little ponies, he's a bit more of a better fit. I'm like, that's a good little side hustle, buddy. You can go and do that.
And I think my littlest, he's like super tight. He holds on to every last cent.
Yeah.
Like he's still got his birthday money. He holds on to it really tight. I remember when he was like really young and I'd drop him off at kindy and he was like, Mum, I'm going to be super rich, because he's a really good soccer player. And I said, oh yeah. He's like, I'm going to live in a mansion and I'm going to have people do stuff for me, and I'm going to have video cameras, and I'm going to drive a Lamborghini. He's living on
MTV cribs.
And I said to him, well, you can give me money to manage you. You can give me 10%. Yeah. I'm not giving you 10%. I was like, you little tight ass already from such a young age.
I always tell my kids I'm Kris Jenner. You are the next proteges. I am taking 10% of everything that you do because I'm building it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's an interesting
It's different.
topic.
And I always say to my kids too that the avenue streams doesn't have to be one thing.
No.
You look at what Mum does. I do 3 or 4 different things and I make money from it. It doesn't have to be that everything in one basket. Like,
but I just want my kids to know that money isn't everything. Like now that we're looking for a house.
Yeah.
You know, I rephrase it when people go, oh, you're looking for a house. And I'm like, no, I'm looking for a home. I'm not buying a house.
Yes.
I'm looking for a home for my family.
Yes.
So it's got to be right.
It's got to feel good.
You know, and a lot of people that I know are like keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to have the nice car. I've got to have the nice house. You know, you guys work so hard to have all these things, and then what have you got? You've got nothing in between.
No, and one thing I've learned too is it doesn't matter how big our house is, we all sit on the same couch, we all watch the same TV, even though there's 2 TVs, and everyone's always in the same spot. So why have this massive house? Because we all gravitate towards each other. I don't know what it is, but we're all literally sit on top of each other.
Yeah.
So I don't need, and I like the idea that I can yell out and I can hear them, and I don't need that McMansion at all.
Yeah. And I think too it's respecting people for what they have. Like I actually don't give a shit where you come from.
I find that goes both ways too. Like I don't give a shit what you have, but I find that I get judged because I have more money than most.
Yeah.
And I don't find that fair because I came from nothing. I earned every single cent of it. But I find people are instantly judgmental when, you know, they see me or they see my handbags or things like that. And I find that frustrating, and I don't think a lot of people admit that. But I don't judge you, so why do you have the right to judge me?
Yeah, I think people are just judgy. I remember having this client, she was quite wealthy, and she said to me, oh, you must have this wonderful wardrobe. Yeah. It must be big like Kim Kardashian. And she pissed me off, and I said to her, actually, I live in a caravan at the back of my mum's house, and I had to go through my plastic tubs in my mum's garage to find what I was going to wear today. Yeah. And she just went, oh, she didn't know what to say to me. She felt really awkward about the comment. And I was like,
she should. Yeah.
Just don't judge.
Don't judge. Well, just don't put perceptions on people.
Perceptions.
It's like that's where it's at.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Perceptions, yes.
Yeah,
it's such a big thing for every avenue of life.
Absolutely.
You know, get rid of the perception about yourself on the way that you think you should have your life. You know,
I think we just turned 40 and been talking about that. I think that's certainly changed for me too, being 40. It's like I had all these things. I should just have a list in my head of what I wanted to achieve when I was 40. And none of that I want now. Absolutely none of it. Like I just have a different view of where I'm going and what I'm doing and
I
what I want from my life.
I just want to be around decent people. Yeah. I want to, you know, people that value me for me and not what I have and how clean my house is. And because it's definitely not clean. No. You know, I think money is a really bad topic.
Yeah, it's a tough topic, as we said when we started the show. It's a taboo topic. People don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think people need to stop living life for money.
Yeah,
and start living life for them.
Yeah.
You know, because it just creates assholes.
It really does. And I've met a few in my day. I tell you that much. Like, it's crazy. You know, and asshole kids too. It's like,
asshole kids. There's nothing worse than asshole kids.
It's just
because they're going to grow up to be bigger assholes than what you are. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God, I know. I've met a few, and it's sort of like, what are you doing to these kids?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
And, you know, those asshole kids are the worst ones doing shit behind your parents' back.
They're the ones who are doing the shit you don't want your kids to do.
Yes.
They're getting the drugs, they're causing the trouble because their parents are just,
They're the ones posting nude pics about themselves and, you know, so if you're an asshole, check it.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, I think...
and I think too, for me, earning money is not a negative. Like,
no.
Yeah, like having that income and doing well is not a negative. And I think quite often that you can talk yourself out of it because it's not seen like tall poppy syndrome in Australia. Like you just don't want to be dragged down.
But some of the happiest people are the ones that live in like a little hut by the ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like be happy and everything else will come.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. You know, be happy, be a decent person, give back to the community.
Absolutely.
And everything else
will work itself
will
out.
come. Yeah. Don't compete.
No, don't compete. Don't compare. Don't have perceptions on people.
And I always say when you do something with the wrong intentions, it never, ever works.
Never does. You get caught out.
You get caught out. Something always happens. So just be happy, raise decent children and not worry about the money that's in your bank.
Yep.
And, you know, the people that are meant to be in your life
will be there.
Will be in your life. And the people that aren't, like, good riddance.
Yeah, it is a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You get rid of them. You know, you're kind of living this life that, you know, I don't live my life with expectations and I don't want people to have expectations
of you
about me. I actually don't give a shit that I've lost everything and I actually don't give a shit that I have to share it with everyone.
No.
And I actually don't give a shit what you think.
That's brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely awesome.
All right. Well, I guess I've had enough of listening to you for one day, Mish.
Yeah, no worries. If you want more, go to frankiemichelle.com where you'll find all of our episodes. You can subscribe to Frankie and Michelle News and there's heaps more on the website, guys.
And I think the next one is a good one because we're going to learn about what we've learnt
in 2020
and sharing it with everyone.
And the fact that we haven't discussed this prior to the next episode is going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great.
Peace.